Rubana Haq, but she is not present here. So is there anybody, Badri Prasad Pokhrel and Subhash Singh Purajali from Nepal? Are they here? So they are not here, and Russell had already presented his paper, poetry. So we are going forward for paper presentation, and to chair this session I'd like to request Mr. Riaz Punjabi from India to come up to the dais, and before that I would like to introduce him before you. Professor Riaz Punjabi is the former Vice Chancellor of the University of Kashmir. He was granted the Padma Shri and is one of the India's high civilian awards, and it was in year 2011. He is the President of International Center for Peace Studies, New Delhi, and Honorary Co-Director, European Literature. He is the founding editor of the Quarterly Journal of Peace Studies. Professor Riaz Punjabi has authored 6 books, contributed chapters in 12 edited volumes, more than 200 research papers in national and international journals. Sir, please, you can.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I call the session in order, and without losing time, may I call the speakers from Bangladesh, Abul Shaq Hussain, Abul Shaq Hussain received his PhD on the Sage and Society, Lalan Shah and 19th century social movements in Bengal from Dhaka University. In spite of intense propensity to poetry, he now is totally enthusiastic in this work. He carries research on different areas of Bengali literature and philosophies. He is the founder and president of Lalan Research and Culture Foundation. He has been scripting and presenting a serial TV program on Baul philosophy for more than 10 years on state-owned television channel BTV. Besides his research work, he is a poet, novelist and lyricist. He has 23 publications to his credit. Welcome, Mr. Shaq Hussain. And in view of his research work, we welcome you to this festival and hope to be inspired by your work. We have another speaker from Afghanistan, Khalid Mumizad. Senior, please come. And we have also from Sri Lanka, Van O. Somananda. Is he here? Mr. Somananda from Sri Lanka.
He has not come. He has not come.
He has not come. Okay. We wish him all the best. And we start with Mr. Kamal Prasad.
Very good afternoon, everybody. Honorable Chair, respected guests, ladies and gentlemen. I, Abhisat Hussain, from Bangladesh, and I have been working on Bhavan philosophy, especially on cult movement, cult-based philosophy, for more than 30 years. And what I understood and what I feel through my working, Bhavan and other cult movement is misinterpreted. We should understand it, and if we could explore, discover the underlying philosophy of this cult movement, that could bring salvation for us, bring both spiritual and social salvation for us. So, the topic of my paper today, Bhavan, the misinterpreted movement of Bengal. Generally, we understand Bhavans are a group of wandering mystic mysteries of Bengal region of South Asia, which includes Bangladesh, West Bengal, Tripura, and Assam of India. But actually, Bhavan is a philosophy, a movement, and at the end, it turns into one of the school of world peace. I try to focus on its philosophical and revolutionary significance. Though a small country, Bangladesh is blessed with rich and diverse cultural tradition. Life and living of the people in Bangladesh have been nurtured from the time immemorial by these diverse cultural traits. The most penetrating cultural tradition of Bangladesh is its folk tradition, or to be more precise, the folk culture. Enriched with multicultural theme and multi-religious philosophy, folk tradition of Bangladesh always sought emancipation of the oppressed population from the repression of the ruling elites. One of such folk tradition of Bengal, which for last few centuries have been expounding humanity over all social injustice and religious dogma, is Bhavan philosophy. Bhavanism is a doctrine, a method of adoration for humanity, and also is a religious belief. In the language of Akshay Kumar Datta, is a worshipper community. Bhavans are deep-rooted part of the flamboyant cultural heritage of Bengal. The use of the word Bhavan could be traced back in the early 16th century Bengali literary classics like Chaitanya Bhagavata, written by Vrindavan Das Thakur, as well as in the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Krishna Das Kaviraj. Bhavan philosophy has mixed elements of Tantricism, Sufi Islam, Vaishnavism, and Buddhism. The human philosophical approach of Sahitya, that of the Sufism, reigned supreme among the exploited mass people as means of emancipation from all sorts of social injustice imposed by the ruling elites on the subaltern population of Bengal for long. These ideas profoundly exerted influence in the development of Bhavanism in Bengal. We have a general conception about Bhavanism is that it is a philosophy of disabled and socially unconscious people of the society, which in some cases determined by the general meaning of the word Bhavan. It is assumed that etymologically the term Bhavan originated from the word Bhavan, which means disorderly, careless, and mad. Professor Ahmed Sharif pointed out the pointed out on the similarity of the word baul with that of the word baura, meaning a mat, a popular parlance of Uttar Pradesh, India. At the same time, it has a historical background. The customary idea about the origin of the Baul sect is that after the death of Sri Chaitanya Dev, the great 16th century religious reformer, his followers disseminated his ideas as a movement throughout Bengal and its adjacent areas. Approximately 1625 AD is said to be the year when Baulism as a separate minor religion surfaced in the soil of Bengal. It is believed that one Madhu Bibi and Aulitard were the creator of Baul sect. Later on, Bir Chandra or Bir Bhadra, a disciple of Madhu Bibi and son of Nityananda, popularized Baulism among the mass population of the then Bengal. It needs to be mentioned here that though Baulism had surfaced in 17th century Bengal, but its core philosophical ideas were known to the mass people from long past. The philosophical foundation of the Baul sect, like all other minor religions of Bengal, is also deeply rooted in the traditional Lokayata philosophy of the land. This is why it is the high-pitched proclamation of humanism as well as the secularism which solely to trigger the establishment of world peace and equality. You all may know that exploring underlying humanitarian philosophy of Baul songs, UNESCO, a United Nations body, declared Baul songs as a masterpiece of oral and intangible heritage of humanity in 2005. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a very large size paper, but I have to summarize it due to time limitation. And now I want to tell a thing about Baulism and the way of Baul, that Baulism is the only way which can help us to establish world peace, because Baulism believes on eternal fraternity and eternal universal brotherhood, and Baul always give emphasis on to love human being. If we everybody can love human being as a man, as a human, then no disparity, no persecution or no discrimination can take place. Thank you all for listening to me, but before wrapping up my paper, I invite all of you to visit Bangladesh, a country of cultural diversities, a country of religious tolerance, and a country of very natural beauty. Thank you all.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. The previous speakers have been given us light on the historical and geographical origins of Sufism, and I would like to end my speech from that onwards. Today, I will be talking on the crux of Sufism, which most refer us to Marifat. Marifat is the Persian word which has come with every human being. It means to know. It means to acknowledge outer world, yourself, and your inner world. Marifat enlightenment has come with every human being and increased or enhanced every human in practicing the knowledge or to know, mostly yourself. This is the word that's while I'm an Afghan from Afghanistan, and now I'm living here in India, my second home. This is the word which is used even in the childhood. Whenever we Afghans talk with each other, so the first facing is called marifat. That we say salam, the marifat starts. So this word is the same Sufism that has been practiced. I don't want to just express the historical, because my thought is that Sufism has come from the where the human being, the existence of the human being. It exists in every human being. It leads us to the ocean where we lose ourselves when we are in khilwat. So this word khilwat is where we sit with ourselves, alone or with the friends. This khilwat is also the same meditation in Buddhism that leads us to peace of mind. To know our spirituality, here we find only one, that is our Creator, the God, Allah, or Allah. It is here we express our inner world to the outside, and we find out the ocean in ourselves. Of course, it leads us to the love. When we love first, then we first ourselves, then we love others. It is that love that makes us like a water which has no color, which we call it berangi, where we reflect all colors. So as far as Sufism mostly talk about the souls, so I found that I should just talk something about the soul, about the spirituality. The respected speakers have been talking about the historical and all sides of Sufism. So as a simple Sufi that I live here, I would like to share that I found the same words where I came from, Afghanistan, and I could practice very well here in India. I found all the Sufis here and the same spirituality in India, that there is no boundary and there is no color, only the soul, which leads us to love ourselves, to love others. My search, or marifat, the word marifat or Sufism, made me find the similar spirituality came also to find out the number of Sufis here in India, which has come from the many continents, from the other continents like Afghanistan, Central Asia, other countries. Everybody knows that. But I am inspired in between with one of the most famous Sufi saint and poet in Afghanistan. It's called Hazrat Bedil. Hazrat Bedil, his full name is Hazrat Abdul Qadir Mirza Abdul Qadir Bedil, and also he is called the father of meaning, Abul Malik. While there is during my research, I found a lot of information in books written by him, and he is here in India. He used to live in the heart of India in the in the 16th century. While I found that there is a few people who knows him, and his way of poetry is called Indian school, Maktab-e-Hindi, in the Persian world. Mirza Abdul Qadir Bedil has written 4 Masnavis, and even it is more and so many more books in Irfan. Irfan is also, we can say, Sufism. Very good. The outline of his philosophy, his thought, leads us towards ourselves, but he is well known that his meaning is so difficult for even the Dari or Farsi speakers also. That's why he himself said, "Mane bilande man fahm tund mein khahat." The higher meaning I express requires the higher listeners, or the one who really understands is the higher point. So I would be very short because I am presenting instead of one of my Afghan friends while I'm here. So I would thank Mr. Nasimi that he gave me this chance to just express my words. I would like to add some more words that Sufism and Buddhism, the practices in between both worlds, especially the point meditation, is almost the same. When we sit and meditate for the peace of mind, it's the same khilwat. A Sufi is sitting and looking to find the peace of mind and ignoring all the negativity to make place, to become empty for the positive energy which is coming eternally from our souls. This practice leads us to our inner world, where we enter to the ocean where there is no differences, and we find out our Creator while we are lost. There is a song being composed by Salam Cultural Forum. I would like to just present you this one for my last word. Is written in Farsi and Urdu or Hindi. Hey dost, ये दोस्ती बड़ी चीज़ है, दोस्तों का यही गीत है, दिल्ली के दिल में बेदिल रहेगा, दिल्ली के दिल में बेदिल रहेगा, गुनगुनाता शेर काबुल रहेगा। ये पुरानी मंजरे, ये पुराना रास्ता कह रहा है हम दोनों की दास्तां। एक मीनार कुतुब है यहाँ, एक मीनार जाम है वहाँ, आ रहा है सदियों से चिश्तियों के कारवां। Thank you so much.
Very nice.
Thank you, friends. We had two illuminating papers on the Sufi and mystic traditions in Bangladesh and Afghanistan. First of all, I think I take the opportunity to express my gratitude to achieve the Arpanaji and their close team led by Dr. Anand Kumar and other friends to keep this candle glowing in the darkness of exclusiveness which seems to be pervading the entire world. I was sitting here listening to these great mystic traditions from Bangladesh to Kabul, and I'm sure that all the scholars who poets and authors were present here they provide the glimpse of hope in this darkness in which we are perceived. These are the voices which transcend the rhetoric of hate and violence being perpetrated on one or the other pretext. If you close your eyes, as our friend from Kabul was talking about Abdul Qadir Bedil, my friend Abdul Qadir Bedil belongs to us. He may have come from your land of Kabul, but we in India have owned him and he is to us. And I am reminded of what Amir Khusro would say, that Hindi language in which he was writing was far greater and higher than the Persian language, which has a rich tradition and which is an old language. That is the dedication they had for this land which we call India. Ladies and gentlemen, India is not what you see now in geography. India is the entire subcontinent, from one end to the other. And the traditions of great history, culture, tradition spread on the Karakoram highway demands about the contribution which India has made in the past. We have to celebrate the traditions of spiritual traditions, glory, peace of mind, which emanates from our history and traditions. If you look at the spiritual basis, I would start from what Vedas would indicate. Tanso ma jyotirgamya. And when you move forward, you want to listen in the translation in Arabic, I would say, Mina zulmati ala nur. So from Tansoma Jyotirgamya to Minas Zulmati ala Nur. You don't comprehend? Okay, I will say it in the biblical language. Light to enlighten. Let us proceed on this path. if you go delve deeper in the traditions, which I have been repeatedly saying that when I was working on Dara Shikoh, how he was baffled to see the traditions of spiritualism sorry, in Vedas and Upanishads, because they are universalistic and they have found expression in different languages. Our friend from Bangladesh was talking about world movement. The world movement is the shape because it originated from the land of Bangladesh. The same movement, if emanated from Kabul and Afghanistan, would acquire the shape of tasawwuf. And our friend from Afghanistan very ably talked about khalwat, about meditation in the khalwat. What is the work we have to do? Is we have to dismantle the walls which have been created to separate you from us. A young friend who talked about Buddhism in Sri Lanka and the symbol of stone which he used. And let us not forget that Buddha has traveled and traversed every corner of subcontinent. We have to own him and revere him by heart. And we have to listen not to the image, but to the message which he has given. And we have to work on that. Today, we live in cyberspace. We live in the age of technology. Therefore, it's our duty to be alert because the messages are distorted. And this distortion of messages is not confined to one particular community, caste or color. It transcends. I tarnish the message of you to what you belong, you tarnish what I believe is. And we have to transcend. We have to dig out, we have to highlight and center stage what is meant by spirituality and how does it transcend the divisions of caste, color, region and religion. This might have been the tradition in Western societies long time back. They have lost it, but it is still with us. I heard that in Bhutan they talk about the gross happiness. It took me some time to look into this. What is this gross happiness they are looking for? That is, they have carried out the essence of spirituality, essence of the so-called religion, which satisfied and gladdens our heart. You can acquire success in any field of life, provided you have the satisfaction within. If you look deeper inside, all our lives we spent struggling, but never address the basic issue in words. Shut your eyes for a minute, an hour, or a day, and discern the cause and the root cause of dissatisfaction. And then you will laugh over it. What is this which has worried me? Then you will reach to a stage, as Kusrav said, Lami Danam to Manzil Bood, Shamjai to Manzil. That is the, when you merge with the universe. You merge with the message the universe is giving to you. Every one of us has a bond with the other. I don't know if you have seen that when we meet people whose language we don't know. I have been to countries where I don't understand the language, nor could they understand my language, English even. There are still some areas in France, they know nothing but French. But you be their guest, they'll serve you, they will treat you, they'll be your friends, they'll make you to understand. I was wondering that I traveled for about 4 or 5 hours to reach a place, and the lady had cooked something non-vegetarian. I had to convey to her that I am not taking non-vegetarian these days, so I want something vegetarian. It took her a couple of minutes to understand. She prepared a very good toast of cheese and butter, and with such love and care she offered it to me. And we started laughing, I don't know what. And I wondered that how human beings to understand all these differences, provided we go to the basics of the message of this love affection. It's how I say that introduction, this initiative of Ajit Didi has far greater significance to bring in the people from SAARC countries together and provide them opportunity to share their ideas of fraternity, brotherhood and community. With these words, I thank you all and hope that we meet again and we disseminate the message of love, affection, and brotherhood. Thank you very much.